Pour yourself a virtual pint. We're going to be talking about a cinema experience that transcends boundaries. We're going to be reviewing The Old Oak, which takes us on a journey about community, loss, and the enduring power of hope. But before we get into it, hit that intro.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
I know what you're going to be saying, Lee. This doesn't sound like up your alley. This doesn't seem like your kettle of fish at all. Well, I want to do something different. I want to expand a little bit more. And I saw this movie coming out. I thought, nah, I'm in. I want to check this out and I want to see it. Now, this particular movie just dropped in Australia on November the 30th. It did come out in London and France a lot earlier, but we're only finally getting here in Australia. Now, The Old Oak was premiered at the 2023 Cannes Festival early this year. This movie is directed by Ken Loach, and this is also, this film only took 6 weeks to shoot. It started in May 2022, and it came out in September. I think France or England was September, and here in Australia, as we only got here, is finally in November. Now, this particular movie is about an old mining town that's struggling with, as you mentioned, either one pub open, and suddenly Syrian refugees decide to arrive at town. So that starts creating friction all together. I can only imagine if you can imagine how fun that's going to go in a little town. Now, this movie doesn't go for overly too long. It was this very powerful act. I didn't find myself in my watch or, time or getting lost in it all. It was just a small movie, and it's really big on community. As long as you have the fact that you're racism, pride in your town, all the different stuff, and just how things can, how some people don't like change at all. And you can really sense that in this movie. So our titular character is named TJ. He owns the old Oak pub. He's in his 50s. He's not married anymore, unfortunately, due to the passing of his wife. And he just runs this pub. And the same type of locals come in all the time. And it's the only reason this pub keeps going. Now, this town, as I said, it was a thriving mining town. And it's now just become this really small, not dingy. I would say dingy, but it's, there's no tourism. There's no school. Like, it has to go a bit distance. No one's looking after the roads. It's just become... Like, it's you and your same 10 friends and you see your same 10 friends every day. That's essentially what this town has become. Now, one day, what happens is these Syrian refugees start arriving, which is the opening scene in this movie, which is a bit rough. The locals don't like it because they're getting housing. And because they're getting housing, community members who have their house, who live next to these homes, their value property drops. So that's the first tension that we do see very early on, that people don't like that they're arriving. Why are they coming here? And we don't know them. They're not part of our culture. They barely speak us. So that's, as you can imagine, that's probably one of the big thing. But TJ doesn't seem to be phased at all too much. He just seems to be focusing just on his pub and just what he can do for day to day. And as these Syrian refugees are arriving, we get Yara. She is our second main character in this movie, and she is a photographer. Now, what leads us, or what's one of the biggest catalysts in that, is that what happens is one of the locals breaks her camera. She goes to see TJ at the pub because she gets told that he knows all the locals, and where to find the person who broke the camera. Now, she does find the person who broke the camera, but of course he's a dick, and he's not going to help her at all. She seems to be, at the time, the most fluent in English, which we do find out later on why. But TJ does bump into her. He does also help her. So look, even though your camera's broken, I have some spare cameras you can use back at the pub. And while this is in the shop and while that's going. Now, why that kicks off our story, we do find out that if the pub is very struggling, it's only half a pub now. There's a back room that it's a mess, and it's just what it used to be. And why they're in the back room, both Yara and TJ, we do get a grand shot of all these old photos of what the town used to be. And one of the big messages that Yara does see is that a town that eats together stays together. All these messages on the wall, which I really do love. And what I do love about these smaller movies, especially in Europe and the UK, is I love all the landscape shots. When you see it across, it's just so nice. It makes me want to travel so much. Just recently, we got as we're recording this, the brand new trailer for Furiosa just dropped, and that's been shot in Australia, and it's giant wasteland. I'm like, yeah, that's what 3/4 of our country looks like. Not as nice as everywhere else. So, so when I see these movies, I'm like, oh, that travel bug is just kicking in, and I really want to go. It really makes me want to go overseas. So hopefully one day. Now, Yara, as she's trying to help with the town, we also get to see that TJ is also helping the refugees with just charity items like bikes, clothing, all this, and some of them, obviously townsfolk don't like that. It's like, oh, why are they getting it and not us? It's like, well, because they've come from a war-torn area and they've lost everything, and which TJ understands that, but a lot of people in this town don't. And as the film progresses, the tension just keeps. It doesn't go like right up. The tension is like this. It's just slowly gaining and slowly going up. Now, it's as it's also continuing on. Yara and TJ try to do a little bit more around town, and you do see Yara tries to help with the kids at a local sporting event, which unfortunately that doesn't go too well. However, some of the townsfolk in helical hairdressers, they ask her to help because she's a photographer. We also do get to see that the nice little scene where TJ does go over to Yara's house, and we find out why she was a photographer, how she knows how she knows English so much, and you get these really nice moments. Now, if you are a dog lover, there is a particular scene that I really don't like, and you can imagine John Wick vibes, but not what happens after John Wick. But but after that pivotal moment, you do find out more about TJ, why he's by himself, why he goes to the beach, and where his dog come from, which I did love his dog. And then a big part of this movie is that what happens is they try to do this big community lunch. The town, the big message in this movie is community, family, and having hope. Now, as terrible as the town folks do like the Syrians here, it is exactly what they need, because this town was very broken, which is displayed very much in all the characters. As I said, the acting is really good. And they try to do a big community luncheon, which unfortunately does hit a small snag where the local townsfolk, the boys' club, as you can imagine, do go on to sabotage their only pub, which TJ does find out it's one of his childhood friends that does it, and it's just horrible. And this tension still goes to the entire movie. Now, I won't tell you the full ending of this movie, but if you're looking for a film that's just, it's not, I'd say that it's not action, it's not superhero, it's nothing major, it's nothing world-ending. If you're just looking for a very small story, small town with some really great moments, really heartfelt moments, because as I said, I was glued to this entire time. I was just fully in, and that's not like me. I'm usually, sometimes these movies, I'm bored out of my mind. But no, I was all the way through. So I highly recommend this movie. And if you have seen it, please let me know in the comments. Like, what did you like about the most movie? What didn't you like about it? And what, who's your favorite character? But overall, all the interactions, all fantastic. Has some sad moments, but it is on my watch list for 2023. You should go check this out. I don't miss it for a single beat, especially if you're just looking for a good Sunday afternoon flick. This will hit that spot. As always, until next time.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.